We rejoin Roy as he once more arrives in River's End. He learns that the deputy... We rejoin Roy as he once more arrives in River's End. He learns that the deputy doesn't have the gold for the bounty, so he would have to wait for a ranger to come through town. So he decides to take a few days to get some rest and recover from his ordeals. During this period, he learns that Bad Bradley Bronson operates in an area between Whiston and Vigoroa, and decides it would be a good opportunity to get another bounty, so he heads on over to the town of Whiston. Except for a green-clad rider who mostly ignores Roy, the journey south is uneventful, and Roy soon reaches Whiston, which is the first walled city he has ever seen. Once in town, Roy moses on down to the sheriff's office to ask for more information on Bad Bradley Bronson. The sheriff tells him of a survivor of a Bronson attack he can go talk to, and so he does. But the boy is incoherent and mostly babbles nonsense, so Roy stocks up for the next trip to Vigoroa and finds himself broke once more. The next day he heads out, hoping to trick Bronson into attacking him. He encounters a nasty hyena along the way, but he manages to drive it off with his whip after taking only minor damage. Roy decides that perhaps heading back to River's End, collecting his bounty, and seeing a doctor before pursuing Bronson further would be the wise thing to do. On the way back, however, he runs into a giant scorpion, which he thinks would make a good trophy, but his crossbow jams, so he flees. A short while later, he comes across a strange tree with many knives stuck into it. This baffles Roy, but he decides to move on and eventually reaches River's End. He finds the deputy and ranger talking and learns that the deputy has been promoted to sheriff and Roy is finally paid his bounty. Roy offers his services to help the ranger should he decide to go after Missy Calhoun. Roy then goes to see the doctor. After getting patched up and receiving a nice shave, Roy decides to spend some of his hard-earned gold at the brothel. The next day, Roy and the ranger head out to the mine to see if Missy Calhoun is still hiding there. They investigate the campsite and find it abandoned. The ranger also checks the mine shaft but finds it empty. They chat a bit on the way back and Roy learns a bit more about the outlaws. After some rest, Roy gets the notion to buy a bag of black powder and uses it to blow up some bandits. But while he works out the details, he decides to do a little thievery himself, but only from those who deserve it, of course. He stakes out the brothel and formulates a plan. He partakes in the service of the brothel, and in the middle of the night he disguises himself by taking off his shirt and using a black bandana. He sneaks downstairs towards the back room, where he assumes the gold was being kept. He finds the door locked and the guard next to it asleep. Not willing to take a human life yet, Roy aborts the plan to reformulate a new one. Will Roy's gunpowder plot succeed? Will Roy's exploding mule help him collect bounties? Will Roy become known as the shirtless bandito? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Dicing with Death, this time with Roy. How's it going, Ryan?
It's going well. Long time no see.
Long time no see. If you are just watching the VODs of Roy on YouTube, you missed our weekly recap about what's going on in our lives because we just did a check-in with Georg. But suffice to say, there's nothing interesting happening in our lives anywhere. All right.
Living that nerd life.
Perfect. All right. So, what is the dealio? We left Roy in a brothel.
Yeah. Did we leave in the middle of the night? You had sort of like a failed heist. I don't know. We'll call it a reconnaissance heist.
Yeah. Well, I went back and spent the rest of the night in the bedroom, put my blue shirt back on, all that jazz. Let me bust out my character sheet and my notes. Here we go. Okay. There's a big... Is this the tavern that we're looking at? Is this what the...
Sure. It's just
what's
some
with
ambiance.
the big red thing on the side?
That's the aspect ratio of the picture.
Fantastic.
But we can do notes and scribbles over there.
Okay, cool. So it's the next morning then?
Sure, yeah. You are in Madame Buxom's brothel here at River's End. You just had that. I don't know what I didn't get to listen to the recap myself, so I guess we'll just pick up where we left off.
Yep.
Madame Buxom's. You sleep in late after your night poking around in the wee hours of the morning.
No, I pretend like nothing happened, or I do my best to pretend like nothing's happened.
Very well.
So, I know that I'm going to need a few things for this. In addition to background music, I'm going to need a way to get through that door and then get into the chest down there. Getting through the door is a difficult problem, but one that I feel is overcomable. I'll need like a key from someone. I feel like I can get that probably. The more difficult thing would be...
you found the key on the... There were keys, at least, on the...
On the guard.
Right.
That's a doable thing, right? Like, I could... If he's out hard enough, I can maybe, like, cut his belt, slip the keys off that way. I don't know. I'm sure Madame Buxom has her own copy of the key. Maybe I can try and pilfer something off of her, find where she lives or sleeps, and maybe something along those lines. It'll probably be difficult, but I feel like it's doable. The one that I have no idea how to solve is getting into the actual safe. That is a problem I don't know how to resolve.
You're assuming there even is a safe.
That's true. I am assuming that there is a safe, but I don't want to break into all of this stuff and then find out that there's a safe that I have to break into. Because the process for this sort of thing might not allow for me to make another attempt. It might be one attempt only, before they realize that something's going on here. So I should have some preparations to figure out how to get into a safe or check to see if there's a safe. Does one check to see if there's a safe in an area they're not allowed to go? You can't just go asking people about their safes or where they keep their money. That's inherently suspicious, and no one's going to answer that question.
Yeah, at least not without raising eyebrows. Yeah, no one will answer that question, but
Yeah.
You can't exactly even ask that without raising some eyebrows.
Right. But I might be able to do things the other way and offer protection services to the brothel and then rob them from the inside.
I feel like we had another one of your characters running protection for a brothel, and it wound up being incredibly boring. Not that you shouldn't do it again, but so are you doing all this scheming from within Madame Buxom's?
Yeah, I think this is like what's going on in the morning as he wakes up and heads downstairs and heads off to the, what do you call that other place? The watering hole.
Okay, so you do go to the watering hole.
Yeah, I go to the watering hole to do my real thinking on this sort of thing. I'm not going to hang around Madame Buxom's for all that.
Yeah, the cost of drinks at Madame Buxom's is significantly higher, and the food is questionable.
Well, go over here. So Roy's sitting there going, I gotta make some money. I gotta get on with my life. How am I gonna get some cash? Well, Madame Buxom's is a kind of a sleazy place. They don't really need their money. Roy's kind of, well, it is robbery. Roy's not really fond of robbery, but if you're gonna rob someone, might as well rob a place like this. So he figures he can get some shears, cut the belt on the guy, get through the door, get into the next room. Dynamite to blow up the safe, or black powder to blow up the safe, probably a bad idea. Maybe we should just risk it all. Not risk it all, but do it. Maybe we should just snip the belt, grab the key, get through the door, and see what's what. That might be the way to go. So Roy's going to head over to Leroy's General Store and go see about a pair of shears. Something strong enough to cut through leather.
Excuse me.
Definitely need to cut through leather.
Yeah. Well, howdy there, Roy. What can I do for you today?
I'm looking for a pair of heavy-duty shears.
I do not see them in the equipment, but I can't imagine it's... Yeah. Got this fine pair of steel shears for you. 1 gold piece.
Do I even have 1 gold? I do. I give him a gold piece. How much do shears weigh?
I think a pound is sufficient.
Okay. I take the shears. Here, out of my weight.
We'll say a pound. That's fine.
25 pounds of weight on me.
Life's easier without armor, isn't it?
So much easier without armor. Not even lightly encumbered. Okay, so I've got my shears. I will... They look like they could cut through a thing of leather, right? Like a leather belt?
Yeah, nice and sharp. Fine steel shears.
Good.
Sharp as a knife.
So, I just need more or less to do the same thing I did last night. However, I'm going to need a change of clothes with me. None of this running around shirtless with a bandana over my face.
Alrighty.
Let's see, I've got a black bandana, which I should add to my list.
I thought you bought a black shirt and then cut a black bandana out of it.
I think that's what I did, and now I realize I actually need a black shirt too. Or you know what? I could just wear the shirt with like a big hole in it. That's fine. I can just...
You couldn't resist going at least a little bit shirtless.
Look, Roy has 6 intelligence. I think this is quite appropriate.
All right. So I think there's a cutout of like
a big square, like
like the back. I think like the back left, like by your love handle.
Roy's, of course, Roy's love handles are showing. I think that's quite perfect for him.
Hmm.
He's got his shears. He's got his shirts. all he's
You
got
can
to...
wear the same leather pants. You don't need a pair of black trousers.
No. I mean, pants are... I doubt someone will be able to identify me by my pants. Or my shirt. You know, well, the shirt is kind of a blue... I think it's fine. I think it'll be fine. Or Roy's not... Maybe someone will identify him by it, but Roy's not thinking about that. He's, again, 6 intelligence.
Sure.
Still got his transparent blue cloudy gemstone. I think that's all he needs. He's got... Oh, I've got 20 bolts now. Actually increases my weight by 15 pounds, bringing me to 40, which actually does put me just at not encumbered. All right, so Roy's going to... He's going to kill the day waiting in the watering hole.
All right. Where are you staying that night?
That night, I'm staying at Madame Buxom's.
All right. So fork up. Was it 1
gold?
gold? Is it really all it costs?
That's your prices. There might be a variety here, but you know, gold's a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
You know, a peasant makes like a silver a day.
Yeah.
I think a soldier makes a silver a day, according to the DMG or something like that.
Yep. Fine.
Okay.
Gold a night for a stay at Madame Buxom's. Sure.
Okay. Roy is becoming a regular here at the brothel. And he'll pick a new girl. Guess a different one.
All right.
No, it'll be the same one. Same one. I don't know who it is. But this will be the third night with the same girl.
All right. Whether you wanted to remain anonymous or not, Sally Mae recognizes you.
Sally Mae.
Forces a smile.
All right. I wait until evening to go through with our transaction.
All right. You mean like late that night?
Yeah, that night. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go upstairs. Then Roy's going to roll over and pretend to be asleep and try and just stay awake. Maybe, his eyes open, just looking at the wall, waiting for her to get up and depart.
Yeah, sure enough, you'd guess around midnight, she gets up and leaves. God, con check, you animals. Why would he ever roll a con check?
I have some regrets about things I've introduced to the world. This is one of them.
Did you introduce that in the Solemn Days? You did, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. This isn't Neil's world.
God.
This is Ryan's world.
Right, so
actually, I think with Colnier we did roll con checks, didn't we?
Maybe. But God.
Yes, Evan, I know what the con check is for. I helped invent the con check. But I think it's more forgivable when it's a couple of teenage guys giggling about con checks and
yeah. Now we're 30 or almost 30.
Still giggling about con checks. Rolling for hotness.
So once she leaves, I'll wait maybe an hour or so. I'll even sit up in bed so this time I don't fall asleep, giving myself the occasional slapperoo. And then once it's well into the middle of the night, I'm gonna creep to the door and listen carefully.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. 20 plus 10. Natural 1.
See, so you hear nothing.
Okay. I slowly turn the handle and take a step in.
You open the door and step out into the second floor hallway.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I take a look to my right, take a look to my left.
You take a look to your left and you stare face to face at a woman wearing a robe and sort of slinking down the hallway. She gives a bit of a smile.
There
As
a outhouse around here, miss?
should be a chamber pot in the room.
Oh. Okay. I duck back inside and shut the door. Roy then proceeds to use the chamber pot just to make sure, if anyone's listening.
Roll a con check. See if you can use the chamber pot.
Oh no. Plus 13? No.
No!
You can't. There's just nothing there, man.
At least you're getting those ones out of the way quick.
Yeah.
Do you empty your water skin into the chamber pot to make it sound like you use it?
No, but I'll whisper loudly encouraging words to myself. Come on,
Roy,
man.
You can do it.
Just a drop. Oh, it burns.
Do you actually say that?
Yeah, I do. All right.
So what do? You've been
I
spotted.
wait another.
Were you wearing your black bandana?
No, I hadn't changed yet.
Okay.
I was checking first.
Okay.
So I wait maybe another half hour or so. I guess I don't really know how long it is, but I kill time. I clean my nails. I file them down with whatever. I've got a dagger on hand.
I don't think Roy. I don't imagine Roy being a very patient man, so you probably don't wait a full half hour.
Probably not. But he tries to busy himself with giving him a task that'll take a while. So he cuts his toenails, cuts his fingernails.
Mm-hmm.
Checks his crossbow, make sure it's working.
There is a bolt jammed halfway into it.
Forgetting that he had jammed his crossbow ages ago, Roy takes some time to unjam it.
Roll a. Let's see what I want you to roll.
Oh god.
Say a dex check at -6.
20 minus 6 plus 11. 24!
Nice. You're able to get it unjammed. Retrieve the bolt from it as well.
Alright.
I don't know if you had subtracted that bolt, but
whatever. If I did already subtract it, I just have this many bolts now. I don't need the extra bolt.
All right. That only actually takes you a couple minutes.
Okay. Well, so I cut my nails. I unjam my crossbow. I think it's probably been about half an hour. Okay. And once again, Roy's gonna go to the door, listen, probably not hear anything.
Roll another perception check.
20 plus 10, 15.
You hear nothing.
Fantastic.
Creaking of wind.
All right, open the door and poke my head out again.
You see no one.
Right, duck my head back inside. Change out of my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Put on my black shirt with the hole in it. Put on my black bandana. Grab my... put all my gear into my backpack. My crossbow, my bandolier, my weapons, all that stuff. I'll leave one dagger on my belt. I'll just kind of shove everything else into the backpack. And then Roy's going to make his way down the stairs.
All right.
Yeah.
Making an effort to be quiet, I assume.
Yes.
Tiptoeing. Roll a dexterity check.
30. Roy.
Silent as a mouse, Roy tiptoes down the stairs into the common room of Madame Buxom's.
Yeah. Come
You
down the
gaze-
stairs here. And we're
You
going
gaze out upon an empty tavern room. There's a single candle burning down to a nub on the bar, but not a soul in sight.
Roy will sneak to there and peer around the corner.
The usual flickering of light from around the corner.
Muttering to himself, how the hell are these people still up? Do they play all night long? Sweet patootie. Better if they just want to sleep at some point. Considers hanging out here and just waiting for them to leave. You know, maybe he could come down here to the far end of the bar and just prop himself up and wait for them to exit that area. But if they leave, then the guy with the keys will probably leave too. So let's do what we did last time. And Roy will kind of walk down, instead of yellow, walk down looking for, looking to see if that doorman is asleep again. Creep slowly.
Roll a perception check.
26.
I didn't realize the color of the dice changed with the color of your pencil. There is no one in the chair. So there's a chair right here. And you can hear some faint voices around the corner.
All right. Roy will sneak up to the edge and peer around.
You peer around the corner, and you don't immediately see anyone, and then you sort of peer around a little further, and you see two people, a man and a woman, seated at a table about halfway across the room. They're talking.
Do either of them look like Madame Buxom?
Yes. The woman is Madame Buxom. The man's back is to you, and Madame Buxom sort of makes eye contact as you see her.
Ooh, I thought I was in a shadowy corner, but, well.
Yeah, fairly shadowy, but she still catches your eye and sort of looks around the guy.
I turn and flee.
Okay.
I make a run for it and go out the door and just kind of disappear into the town.
All right. You hear muffled shouts. But you don't wait around long enough to hear what they say.
Nope. Roy's gone. He takes off.
You dodge a pole and dive out the front door into the streets at night.
Discretion is the better part of valor, Roy thinks to himself.
Where do you go?
I'll make my way to the bunkhouse and bunk up there for the night.
All right. There is a night watchman. Fork up the 3 silver.
I do change my clothes before I arrive, though.
Upstairs? Didn't you leave all your shit upstairs?
No, I had it all in my backpack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you strip naked in the street and...
I just take my shirt off and put a new shirt on and my vest on. Yeah.
Take your bandana off.
Yeah. Okay. So he goes and stays at the bunkhouse for the night, thinking I've got to find some way to make some money. I'm kind of broke, and I do not have the capacity to go fight large groups of strong bandits.
All right. Well, you wake up the following morning to a bustling river's end.
Nice.
Yes. Seated comfortably here on the shores of this lake, whose name has eluded you. Mysterious lake.
I always thought it was just River's End Lake.
Might be. Might be.
So Roy goes and hangs out in front of the watering hole, puts his feet up, sips a whiskey, tries to decipher a way to make some cash. He could hire himself out as protection. Rather boring. Roy's kind of lazy. He's not really lazy, but he likes to be his own independent man. He likes to set his own schedule, sort of thing. Doesn't mind hard work, but he wants to do it according to his plan. So what's he gonna do? I don't actually know. I guess Roy's gonna go over to the sheriff's office. Wesley's now sheriff, right?
Sheriff Wesley, yes, indeed. The
Walk
sheriff
on in.
is in his office. Yeah, going over some paperwork, looking stressed as all hell.
Morning, Wesley.
Howdy there, Roy.
You got any other bounties out there other than Furious Tate and Bad Bradley Bronson? Any other work for a hired hand?
Them and the... What's her name?
It's a Calhoun.
Yeah, Missy Calhoun.
Yeah. What's the bounty on Missy Calhoun up to?
Word ain't come in yet, but I guess creeping up 200 or so.
Well, that certainly would cover my costs for a while. Only I could round up the men to take her. I'd have to split the costs. Alright, well, you hear of any other bounty hunting work, you come let me know.
Will do. As I said, word ain't come in yet, but I suspect there'll be a reward for any information leading to the whereabouts of Missy Calhoun. Ranger took off yesterday and said that no sign of her at the mines, so that well's run dry.
Yeah. Wasn't that who those mines belong to these days?
Still the prospector.
Is
Not
he
sure what he's gonna do
alive?
about them. Nods.
You live in town here somewhere? You point me towards his
No.
place? No?
I think he's got a place down in Whiston, but I don't know for certain.
Maybe I should see if I can't buy his claim off him. Do some prospecting myself. Well, thank you kindly, Sheriff. And I head back to the watering hole and continue to dehydrate myself in this dry climate while trying to piece together some sort of work. Can I see the world map or the regional map again, please?
Sure.
Well, there's probably work in other towns, but I kind of like River's End. It's small, not so much is going on, but that same sort of small town mentality is what's causing the lack of work. And I don't want to be a cattle rustler or a horse thief. There's that mine. No, maybe we do take the road from Whiston to wherever, and
Set off in search of the Bradley Bronson and his bad gang.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain I couldn't take him.
Not even with a whole horse load of gunpowder?
Maybe if I had a wagon cart full of gunpowder, and I didn't mind blowing myself up. I wonder if there's a... Thinking about the gunpowder plot, maybe I make a fuse out of a candle instead of out of an actual fuse. Put a small little candle in a stack of gunpowder.
I
That
don't
seems
think
like
you
a dangerous idea, though. I'd say there's a 75% chance it backfires and goes off too early. So I guess Roy will just kick it for a few days, keeping his ears peeled if there's any sort of work. Hang out in the watering hole. Maybe someone will come along looking for protection, like back in Ramshackle. So he'll just hang out in the town.
Yeah,
in the
what
watering
HP
hole.
are you at?
5 out of 5, baby.
All right. It costs you 5 silver a day if you are staying at the bunkhouse and eating and drinking at the watering hole.
Okay. I pay the 5 silver for the first day. I'll kick it here a week. If no one shows up in a week, Roy's in some trouble.
What do you mean if no one shows up in a week?
Like if a week passes and no jobs have popped up in the watering hole in a week, Roy's kind of out of ideas.
Okay. So let's. So about 3 days in, you do get confirmation. I guess the deputy swings by the watering hole looking for you. Says, Roy, he asked me to keep you updated. I just got word from the governor that the bounty on Missy Calhoun has been raised to $1.75.
Ooh.
With 20 golds for any leads on her whereabouts. And in case you were wondering, there's 10 gold for information on the whereabouts of Bradley Bronson as well.
Okay. Thank you,
he
Sheriff.
He nods. He hangs around to have a beer with the local boys, but leaves you alone. That's day
Day 3.
3. So 2 days later,
Okay.
or whatever.
Right.
So shell up another gold.
Done. Off up the 10 silver already. So maybe I could head out looking for Missy Calhoun. No one knows where she is. But I want to ask the bartender here at the Watering Hole, whose name I still don't know, but that's okay. I want to ask him whereabouts is Missy Calhoun from? Does she have any... was she first spotted here at the old abandoned mine, or is she a known brigand for some time from some area? I had information there's a bounty on her head for a year, so she must come from somewhere.
Yeah, if memory serves, I think she's a local gal from Whiston. I think she... Yeah. Afraid I don't know her personally, so can't quite say.
No, it's good that you don't know her personally. Probably better for your life expectancy.
She and her gang seem to be doing all right.
At the cost to murder an innocent folk.
Yep. Never really had the stomach for murder.
Mm-hmm. Well. Roy asked the bartender, what is west of River's End? What's out there?
Hills, prairie, alpaca.
Alpaca?
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's an animal. They move wherever their hooves take them.
Strange name for a critter.
Supposedly there's an ocean somewhere out there.
Roy nods approvingly. Okay. I guess he's gonna travel to Whiston. There's still nothing. Well, no, he'll wait out the rest of the week here. It's only been 3 days. He'll wait another 4. Just spending his time in his cups. I'll probably actually chip out a little extra money for each day because he's bored, and bored people spend money very quickly.
All right, so the next day you're hanging around the watering hole.
Okay.
When a rancher stumbles in late morning, he's got denim overalls, big hat, and a big belly, and he seems quite beside himself. I just can't stand it. My alpacas, they keep dying off.
Eh? Why is that?
Like
I call from across the room.
He's like sat down at the barkeep. Whiskey, please. Well, I reckon it's that chupacabra.
Chupacabra. I've heard of this creature. Doesn't it normally attack cows?
I think it's goats, but alpaca, goat, same thing.
Where you keep your alpaca out there, huh?
My range is about 6 miles southeast of town.
You got any other fellas having same problems? Any other ranchers out there having chupacabra issues?
Rumors going around just about everyone. Animals getting dragged off. Found one of mine with nasty tears around its throat. Didn't even eat the critter. Just dragged it off and roughed him up some.
Must be seriously compromising your business.
I'd say so.
How much would you pay to have this little problem taken care of?
Are you gonna kill a chupacabra?
Maybe I will.
Didn't you know they're invincible?
Well, nothing
Can't be harmed by ordinary weapons.
What do you need to hurt one?
Well, I don't know. Blessed steel, or maybe some dynamite.
Dynamite? What's dynamite?
The barkeep nods approvingly. Yeah. Dynamite should take care of a chupacabra.
I thought
Like
this town didn't have dynamite. General
Black
store
powder?
owner only told me they had black powder.
Aren't they the same thing? Dynamite's just when you take a bunch of black powder and you shove it in a barrel and stick a fuse on the top, right?
No, I'm pretty sure dynamite uses nitroglycerin as a base. Then some solidifying agents to keep it more
intelligence,
stable.
Roy?
Low?
Yeah. So a couple other folks
too low. He still figures it out.
A couple other folks weigh in on dem chupa things.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's,
I want to get the. He said it was like his ranch was 6 miles southeast of River's End,
did I say southeast? I meant southwest. Did I
southwest
say
of River's End.
southeast?
I don't. I thought you said
I don't know.
southeast. Whatever.
Nah, I
Um.
think southwest.
Okay.
We'll say southwest.
So I want Roy's plan is
Um,
to try and see if this guy will pay him anything to kill the chupacabra.
yeah,
Um,
he's they reckon that you can't kill a chupacabra. But he'll pay if you can get it to stop harassing my herd, I'll pay you 10 gold. I reckon some of the other ranchers may chip in as well.
Yeah. I ask for, basic directions to their places so I can go right up to their houses and see what they'll be willing to pay if I can get rid of this beast.
All right. So where do you head? You mount up and
Yeah, I asked this guy if he's got directions to the other ranchers' ranches.
uh well they're all over. Got my two neighbors is Jim Bob and what are you laughing at, Roy? Actually, he doesn't know your name. What are you laughing at?
Jim Bob?
Yeah, Jim Bob and Billy. They're
All
to
right.
the east and to the north of my range.
They're also alpaca farmers?
Billy's got cows, maybe a few goats, and Jim Bob's got alpacas too, but I think it's his pigs that they got into.
When did you last suffer one of them attacks?
Oh, I just last night. That's why I come in here,
Right.
drink my sorrows away.
Well, why don't you finish that drink and take me out to your ranch, and I'll give it a good inspection on what I can find from this critter.
Well, righto. He slams the rest of his whiskey and waddles outside.
Hey.
He mounts up on top of a fat donkey,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess the two of you head out of town. All right. You don't get more than a mile out of town when you roll a perception check. Oops.
21.
All right. You spot some shapes, some round shapes on the road ahead. I guess you wouldn't exactly call it a road, but it's been worn down from traffic in and out of town.
Okay. Round shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a count of them or a more detailed description?
They're a couple hundred yards off yet, so you can't really tell what they are. You guess maybe a half dozen mounds, bigger than man size.
Are they moving or are they just appearing on the horizon? Like, am I coming into...
Dead still.
Okay. Man-sized. I asked...
Your companion, who has said his name is Dixon,
Dixon.
sort of squints as he looks at these shapes and
Is there a problem there, Dixon?
knew I shouldn't have left.
Well, those things mean something to you?
Well, you look side to side. Looks like
Somewhat.
looks like them's alpacas, I think. Look dead.
I kick into Winchester and ride faster
least-
towards them.
At least they ain't moving. He follows behind, moving a little slower on his donkey.
So are these indeed dead alpaca?
Yeah, as you get closer, notice the unmistakable sign of alpaca fur, bring you back memories of your youth. Remember, these are splattered with blood and trails scattered about the road.
Alpacas.
They shouldn't have tried to follow me, Dixon says.
Well, these ain't nothing but smaller llamas. Now, you want to point me in the direction of your neighbors, and I'll go talk to them, and as soon as I can strike a deal with them, I'll take care of your little problem here.
Well, Billy's up that way, and he points to the right. And Jim Bob's down that way, and he points to the left.
Well then, is that your ranch there? I say, pointing to. I mean, if there's alpacas around, is there a building around as well?
No, and you're not too far, or you're only a little ways out of town. He says, my ranch house is still another 4 some odd miles that way. He points to the direction you're headed.
All right, well, I'll ride with him all the way to his ranch house, just so I make sure I don't get lost going to the next place.
Okay. You leave these alpacas dead here in the road.
Yeah. I've got no use for them.
All right. He seems to be struggling over what to do with them, but you suggest you'll ride him to his ranch house. All right. I suppose no use crying over spilt alpaca.
All right.
Come on, let's go. And so you ride on to his ranch house.
I do.
Would you like to come in for a glass of milk? Maybe some toast?
Sure, milk and toast, but then I gotta be off finding these other suckers. 4 suckers who have been gotten by the chupacabra.
All right. I tell you what, if you can stop this before any more of my critters die, give you 15 gold.
All right, I'll take it.
All right. You go inside. His rotund wife makes you some toast,
Okay.
pours you a glass of milk.
All right. Well, I eat the toast, drink the milk, say hello to his wife, and head to the left and to the right to go talk to these other farmers. What we can do.
All right. Which way are you heading first?
The left way.
All right. Okay. You head left. What's your roll of perception check?
Okay. 25.
All right, you're able to find the neighboring ranch house without much trouble.
Okay. I ride on up to the house, tie off
Yeah, there's
Winnie at the I presume there's some sort of place to tie a horse.
there's a hitching post.
That's the word.
As you
Hitching
get
post.
as you get closer, your nostrils are filled with the smell of pig shit.
Just like Mama used to make back home.
You approach the ranch house. Off to the side, there's a barn.
I give a knock on the door of the ranch house.
There's 4 people on the porch as you approach.
Even better.
3
Howdy there,
women
fellas.
and a man.
I hear from, my name's Roy, and I hear from Dixon you've been having some chupacabra problems around these parts.
The women remain silent as the man says, "Chupacabra, you quiet that talk, you'll startle the girls."
Well, they ain't got nothing to fear, I say, tipping my hat to them.
He steps down off the porch and walks over. He's like, "Yeah, the critter got my pigs about 2 weeks back.
They
Only
got
2 of them."
Dixon's alpacas last night and today. I'm looking around to see if there's enough interest in a professional taking care of the matter. You got any interest in having someone wipe this critter off the face of the earth? Dixon's offered 15 gold. You willing to match that?
I'll chip in 5. I reckon it's just a pack of wild dogs, maybe a cat. But we'll see.
I give him a long, hard look. 5 gold. How many pigs you gotta die before that number goes up? You know, I opt not to take this job if it doesn't pay too well, and you're gonna be losing out a lot more than that. My time's valuable, you know. Not worth
Who the
risking my
hell
life
are
for a
you?
measly 20 gold pieces.
Who the hell you say you are?
My name's Roy. I'm the one who saved the new sheriff, former deputy. Helped get Missy Calhoun out of them hills.
Way I heard it, you took off running like a coward.
Now, only one person could have told you a story like that. And I know the deputy doesn't, the new sheriff doesn't think of me that way. So, I reckon there's been a misunderstanding here. See, everyone was dead. Didn't run off like a coward. Everyone was dead. Managed to come back and save the deputy's life. So you call that cowardice? I think you and I are gonna have to have a little man-to-man, I say, as I start to get off my horse and come down to face him, nose to nose.
Ray's not a tall man, so you see this guy about eye to eye. He's slender with long mutton chops. Now, the way he was talking a moment ago sounded like he was threatening my pigs. Now it sounds like you're threatening my person.
There's a price to pay when you call a man a coward to his face. Now, I mean no harm to your pigs. My mom always said I don't know how to speak right, and that might be so. I'm just saying, this chupacabra is a real problem around these parts, and I'm willing to risk my life to save your pigs. The price is right. 5 gold, well, that ain't near worth it. Why don't you make
And
it
I
an
guess-
even 10?
5 gold it is. I guess you're just too pricey for me, Roy. Why don't you get off my ranch?
I give the people on the torch, a nod, and a hat tip, mount up, and head back towards the other ranch that I did not attend.
Yeah. The four of them watch you intently as you gallop away.
Okay. I guess I go to the next one, but we're at break time, so why don't we take a break here? When we come back, we will see if Roy can piss off more townsfolk. See you guys on the other side of our break. Bye-bye.